Welcome back, everyone. I said I was going to get a video up for the National Championship game, and here you go. As always, I'm your host, Spencer Fannin. Welcome back to The Breakdown. This video I was hoping to have up yesterday, Saturday, January 9th, but real life got in the way. Been helping my folks remodel stuff around the house because they might be selling. And I'll show you a picture of our rec room, playroom that me and my brother we've had since we remodeled the house over 17 years ago. It has never been that clean. Even when we moved in, it was never this clean. So I've been working on that pretty much the last 2 days, and it feels really good to have it finally done. But it's taken a lot of time, a lot of trips to Goodwill, a lot of trips down to the basement to put stuff away. So that's why this video was a little delayed. I was hoping to have it up on January 9th, but it is January 10th, Sunday, about 4:45 as I'm recording this. So, but let's just get right into it. It's the College Football National Championship. It is number 1, Alabama versus number 3, Ohio State. It's a rematch of the very second college football playoff game. Not championship, but actual second game in the playoff system. The first one was Florida State, Oregon in the Rose Bowl in 2014-15. Ohio State beat Alabama in the Sugar Bowl later that night. So this is why this is a rematch of the second ever college football playoff game. I had to think about that for a while just to get my numbers right. But so that was a big upset. Ohio State was number 4. They obviously beat Alabama, and then they beat Oregon to win a national championship. Ezekiel Elliott was on that team. Cardell Jones was on that team. I believe Mike Thomas was on that team. So they had a stacked team in this and stuff. This game is actually it kind of the offense is more on Alabama's side, the offensive weapons this time than I would say Ohio State. Ohio State's got very good offensive weapons in Justin Fields, Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, Trey Sermon, but I don't think to the same level that they did in the quarterback might be better this time around, but I think Michael Thomas and Ezekiel Elliott are better at their position than the other guys are. No offense to them. They're still going to be NFL players. They're going to play in the NFL, but Alabama has those weapons, level of weapons that 2014-15 Ohio State team did on their team now in Mac Jones. Jalen Waddle might be back. The Heisman Trophy, Biletnikoff winner, and Devontae Smith, Najee Harris. It's just a cavalcade of offensive weapons for Alabama. Steve Sarkisian in his final game before he goes off to Texas. But this video breakdown is going to be a lot like the college football semifinal games. Going to talk about the game, basic gambling stats, over under, spread, stuff like that. A couple matchups that are going to be important to the game. One is going to be one for each team on offense, defense, and then we'll go to my picks. So quick breakdown of the gambling stuff. Again, take my picks my advice later on in the video with a grain of salt. I was 1-1 my picks last week. I had Notre Dame in the points. They only lost by 17. So they got the backdoor cover, and then 17 or 18. And then I had Clemson beating and covering the spread, and they did not do that. So I went 1-1 last week. Much better than the 0-4-1 that I did the previous one was championships set weekend. So again, take my picks with a grain of salt. It is not my fault if you lose money on my picks. You chose that risk. That is on you, my viewers. But the spread is 8.5. Alabama is favored. That has gone up about 1.5 since the matchup came out. If I recall correctly, I think it was about 7 last weekend when the matchup was finalized. The over-under is 75.5, and I think that's gone down 1.5 since the matchup was finalized. But it's still going to be a very high-scoring game, in my opinion, going forward and stuff. Both the over hit in the Clemson Ohio State game, and the over, it was the under in the Notre Dame Alabama game. So can't really say both stuff went the hit the over. So, but okay. So the two matchups that I'm really looking at in these games is the first one will be when Alabama has the ball. It is the Alabama receivers versus the secondary for Ohio State. Now, Alabama, as I've said, has the name recognition and the production. They've got Najee Harris. They've got Devontae Smith. They've got John Mechie. They've got Mac Jones slinging it around. And they might have Jalen Waddle back. That is insane. That is terrifying to any defensive coordinator. And Ohio State's secondary, while very good, just doesn't seem to have the name recognition that it has in the past. They got Sean Wade, the senior, who has not called out Devontae Smith, but he says he wants to guard Devontae Smith. So I'm like, good luck, Sean Wade. And then you've got Seventh Banks as well. But that's, at least the name recognition-wise, that's really it. Now, Kerry Coombs, the Ohio State secondary coach, who's been there since I actually worked there back in 2016. He's been there longer than that, but he's a great coach. I mean, DBU 2 at least is there since he's been there. He's had like 5 or 6 in the last 5 or 6 drafts. He's had 5 or 6 first-round picks drafted, so he knows how to coach secondary. So they'll have a chance. I just don't know if the talent level is going to be at that, because Devontae Smith is just terrifying. He's obviously he won the Heisman, won the best receiver, the Blitnikoff award. I think he won Player of the Year as well. He nearly swept like all possible awards. And you get Jalen Waddle back, who's probably as fast or faster than Devontae Smith. That's terrifying. It's like, you can't double both of them, because then you got John Mechie who can run across the middle. They're tight, and Alabama's tight ends. So it's going to be a very interesting matchup right there. I give the edge to Alabama just because of those receivers and stuff. Now, the other matchup is when Ohio State has the ball, and it will be actually the same matchup. Just reverse. It's going to be the Ohio State receivers versus the Alabama secondary. Now, Alabama has Patrick Surtain, who is widely considered the best cornerback in the country. But Ohio State has 2 very good receivers in Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave. Plus, you also have the running ability with Justin Fields and Trey Sermon, who has exploded onto the scene these past couple games, rushing for 330 yards against Northwestern in the Big Ten Championship game, and then rushing for over 150 yards against Clemson in the semifinal game. So Alabama will have their hands full. I think this is going to be a very high-scoring game. And I think that the edge in this matchup does go to the offense, because Alabama's secondary is, again, very good, but they don't, at least to me, they don't seem to have the name recognition that they have in the past. And you've got 2 very good receivers that Justin Fields has a very comfortable in throwing to in Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson, so you can't double both of them, because then there's somebody else. They've got, again, Ohio State has several good tight ends that can do the same thing. So it's going to be interesting. Do you double? Do you play zone? What do you do when Ohio State has the ball if you're Alabama? So it's a very interesting matchup, because both these teams are pretty much the same. One might just be a little bit better and stuff. The offenses for both teams are very high powered. Obviously, I mean, Ohio State put up 49 against Clemson. Alabama put up 31, but they could have put up a lot more. I'm glad they didn't, because I won that bet. I took Notre Dame in the points, as I've said, but it's gonna be really interesting to see. I think this is gonna be a really fun game to watch. I can't wait to watch it tomorrow. But I mean, those are the 2 matchups that I think are going to defend whichever team. If one team can win both of those matchups, I think that they got a very good shot at winning this game and stuff. So, but let's get down. It's getting close to that time. Let's get down to making the picks. You can see, yes, as I've said, I have the Ohio State banner over my right shoulder and stuff. I have the banners for all the places, all the schools that I've worked with or been at right there. Fresno State, University of Missouri, and stuff. So it's difficult, but I'm picking Alabama in this game. I'm actually picking Alabama to cover as well. I think it'll be a close cover. It's going to be like 10 points, something like that, like a late field goal or something like that to push it. But I just think that Alabama's offensive weapons with Najee Harris, Devontae Smith, John Mechie, Mac Jones, their tight ends, and the possibility of Jalen Waddle coming back is just going to be too much for Ohio State's defense. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game as well. I think if I was putting money on it, I would take the over. I think this is going to be something like a 42-38, or wait, no, sorry, something like both teams are going to score upper 30s at minimum, I should say. So something like 45, 35, which is 80 points. So something like that. It's going to be a very high scoring game. It's going to go up and down. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. But I'm picking Alabama to win, and I'm picking taking the over if I'm laying money on it. If you want to take that risk with me, go right ahead. But it's not my fault if you lose. It is your fault for taking my picks. But there you go. That's really the video. That's the breakdown. Again, whichever team, if a team wins both of the matchups that I've talked about, they have a very, very good shot at winning. I am taking Alabama to win and cover, and I'm taking the over if I was to lay that. So there you go. That's the video. That is the video. I'm not sure when my next one will be up. Probably might do some baseball offseason talk. There's been a lot of trades actually surprisingly going around. Yeah, I'm a Cubs fan, so there's been a little heartache with the Yu Darvish trade. So maybe I'll talk about those in a couple weeks. The arbitration deadline I think is later this week, so arbitration numbers will come through, and I think we'll start seeing some more movement, at least signings and stuff in the next couple weeks. But there you go. That's the breakdown for the national championship game. Once again, Alabama covers the 8.5 points and take the over of 75.5. But until next time, this is Spencer Fannin signing out for the breakdown. Thank you again for watching, and have a great night, great day, whenever you're watching this. Just be great. Let's all calm down and keep going. The last 2 weeks, that's still 2020. This starting now is 2021. Later, everybody.